Well, listen. If you don't have anything to say, you blab. You just go on and 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 on.
Voters do not agree with these despicable women on The View. They are wildly out of touch with the vast majority of Americans, and frankly, they should seek immediate.
Whoopi Goldberg spent years reigning over The View like a queen on a throne, shutting down guests, steamrolling opposing voices, and tossing out her opinions as if they were set in stone. But in one shocking episode, her iron grip on daytime TV crumbled in real time, all thanks to Karoline Leavitt. No one saw this coming. The episode started like any other. Smug laughter, eye rolls, and the usual panel of nodding heads, all in perfect sync with the show's left-leaning script.
I think she's probably been put in there because, according to Donald Trump, she's a 10. You know that's what it is.
I want to be clear, though. It's not her first job. It was her first press briefing. She worked in the previous Trump administration.
Whoopi, confident as ever, sat back, ready to dominate yet another discussion. Then came the topic, wokeness, a word that The View practically worships, a concept they defend like their entire brand depends on it. Because, well, kinda does. Feeling untouchable, Whoopi took the first jab, her signature smirk in full effect. She pointed at Karoline and declared, "Without wokeness, you wouldn't even have this job." And just like that, boom. The energy in the room shifted, hard. The audience tensed. Even Joy Behar, who's made a career out of sneering at conservatives, fidgeted in her seat.
Holly, I would like to talk about Joe Biden and Donald Trump, who you work for.
I am stating facts that your colleagues have stated in the past.
Okay,
now,
I'm sorry, guys. We're going to come back out to the panel. Karoline, thank you very much for your time.
That was so good. So good. In a statement afterwards, this young lady claimed her, quote, on-air snub proves that you know who will not be treated fairly in the upcoming debate. Now, do you think this is going to make people doubt whether CNN can stay objective, or is this more the same of, everybody's against me, it's all rigged, I tell you. Is everything rigged?
No, it's their MO. That's what they do. Rachel Maddow said last week, she's like, if the election is lost, it was rigged. If there's a debate, then
The moment was thick with anticipation. Everyone braced themselves for what came next. And let's just say, Whoopi was not ready for the response she was about to get. This wasn't just a disagreement. It wasn't some harmless back-and-forth debate. This was Whoopi Goldberg taking a direct shot at Karoline Leavitt's entire career, her intelligence, her work ethic, reducing everything she had achieved to nothing more than a product of the very ideology she opposed. It was condescending, dismissive, and designed to discredit her completely. And yet, despite the obvious insult, the audience clapped along like they were on autopilot. Some even chuckled, though there was a hesitation in the air, a subtle discomfort that suggested they knew Whoopi had gone too far, but weren't sure whether they were allowed to admit it. But Karoline didn't flinch. She didn't fumble or look for a way out. She didn't rush to defend herself or scramble for a clever comeback. No, she did something far more powerful. She smiled. That slow, knowing smile that spoke volumes. The kind that said, "Oh, you just made a big mistake." It wasn't cocky or overconfident. It was the expression of someone who knew she had the facts, the receipts, and the presence of mind to completely turn the tables. And with a level of calm so unshakable, it was almost unnerving. She did exactly that. This was unlike anything the audience had seen before. And by the way, if you're loving this showdown, don't forget to like and subscribe, because we're about to go even deeper into this explosive moment. Karoline started with the numbers, cold, hard facts that couldn't be brushed off with a sarcastic remark or a dismissive wave of the hand. She laid out government spending reports, detailing exactly how taxpayer dollars were being funneled into absurdly woke initiatives. Programs like gender studies in Guatemala, foreign Sesame Street adaptations designed to push American social activism abroad, and countless other examples that raised more questions than answers. With precision, she connected the dots, making it impossible to deny that wokeness had evolved from a simple social movement into something much bigger, a political weapon used to silence, control, and punish those who dare to challenge it. And Whoopi, she wasn't laughing anymore.
The most divisive and disgusting speech that any president, certainly in my lifetime, has ever given. He essentially waged war on half of the country by saying that we are all a threat to democracy because we believe in putting America first. It's not radical to want to put your country and your own people first. It's not radical to want to have a strong border, a strong military, and to unleash the might of your own economy, not economies around the world. You know, we have seen cultural Marxism trickling its way through every institution in this country. The public school system, the higher education university system, Hollywood, big tech, the corrupt mainstream media that I fought against in President Trump's White House are indoctrinating my generation of Americans into hating our country, hating one another based on race and gender and sex and all of this other BS, quite frankly. We need
The woman who had built a career on dominating conversations, shutting down conservative voices, and steamrolling through uncomfortable topics was suddenly on the defensive. She shifted in her seat, the usual smirk noticeably absent, her hands moving as if searching for something to latch onto. Whoopi was used to guests fumbling over their words, struggling to push back against her rapid-fire retorts. But this time, she wasn't in control. Even if she wanted to clap back to steer the discussion back in her favor, she couldn't, because Karoline wouldn't let her. And at that moment, everyone watching could see it. For the first time in a long time, Whoopi Goldberg was backed into a corner, and there was no easy way out. Whoopi opened her mouth, then shut it, opened it again. Nothing. The words just weren't coming. The audience, usually quick to cheer on her quips, sat frozen in an awkward silence. Even the most devoted View fans in the crowd didn't know how to react. The energy in the room had shifted completely, and for once, the audience wasn't sure if they were supposed to laugh, clap, or just wait for Whoopi to say something, anything, to regain control. Even the camera crew hesitated. Do they zoom in on Whoopi's stunned face, capturing the exact moment she realized she had backed herself into a corner? Or do they cut the commercial and hope no one noticed? Whoopi, usually so quick with a snarky remark or a dismissive wave of the hand, sat stiffly in her chair, looking like she wanted to sink right into it. She had walked straight into a trap, and there was no easy way out. Because here's the real question. If wokeness is truly about diversity and inclusion, why is it that conservative women are always the ones being attacked? Why is it that the very people who preach tolerance suddenly turn ruthless when faced with someone who doesn't toe the ideological line? Right now, in real time, Whoopi Goldberg is realizing she has no comeback. No clever remark, no fiery retort to turn the tables in her favor. The silence stretches uncomfortably long, and everyone feels it. Desperate to recover, Joy Behar jumps in, forcing out a nervous joke in a last-ditch attempt to break the tension, but the damage is already done. Whoopi had just done something even she had never done before. She had completely unraveled on live television.
Well, you know, listen. If you don't have anything to say, you blab. You just go on and 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 on. Right. That's what you hear.
Yeah.
When they don't have anything to hold you with, nothing to make you think about what they have to say, they talk at you, not to you. And that's what she was doing. And she was doing it, and it's not new.
No.
But everybody's hip to you all now.
Yeah.
And we are anticipating that you are not prepared. Because you keep saying you going and you preparing when you're on the trail.
The internet, the internet had a field day with it. Memes, reaction clips, endless commentary. Within minutes, the moment was everywhere. And Whoopi's stunned reaction was being replayed on loop across social media. But here's where things get even crazier. Because this wasn't the first time Whoopi's mouth had written a check she couldn't cash. Over the years, she has turned The View into an absolute lawsuit magnet, dragging ABC into controversy after controversy. From her tone-deaf remarks about the Holocaust to her bizarre defenses of questionable figures, Whoopi has been at the center of some of the show's biggest scandals. But nothing hit the network harder than the recent defamation lawsuits. First, it was Carrie Underwood, then Elon Musk, and now Karoline Leavitt. One after another, the lawsuits piled up, and the cost of Whoopi's unchecked commentary was getting harder and harder for ABC to ignore. And the worst part, this time, Whoopi had no one to blame but herself. Let's talk about Carrie Underwood. When she performed at Trump's second swearing-in ceremony, Whoopi and her co-hosts pounced like vultures. They didn't just criticize her performance, they went all in, mocking her, sneering that she had destroyed her career, and even going so far as to suggest she'd aligned herself with hate. The segment was brutal, an outright character assassination, and they expected Carrie to just take it and move on. But Carrie, she did something no one saw coming. Usually one to stay far away from drama. She didn't issue a statement. She didn't post a vague tweet. She filed a $1 billion defamation lawsuit against The View. And when the case finally made it to court, something explosive surfaced that no one, not even Whoopi, was prepared for.
That you saw live on this program yesterday. Joy Behar stirring the pot of controversy after saying this about Karoline.
She's probably been put in there because according to Donald Trump, she's a 10. You know that's what it is.
Do you want to take this?
So you cannot be attractive and smart? I will try to give Joy the benefit of, well, thank you. I try to give Joy the benefit of the doubt that she didn't see that briefing. Because if you saw that yesterday on numerous topics, no big binder, I think she might have had a different impression of this young woman who held her own.
I mean, you would have to give her the benefit of the doubt that she did absolutely no research or reading about anything dealing with Karoline Leavitt before she made that remark. Because Karoline Leavitt worked, she went to St. Anselm College. She worked for WMUR
Ran for Congress?
In New Hampshire. She ran for Congress at the age of 25, put out a very good campaign. She lost by 8 or 9 points, but she still put on a good campaign. Then she was the press secretary for the Trump campaign, going on TV literally every day.
Well, heavily pregnant and a new mom.
Yeah, she's a new mother. And then she goes out yesterday and gives and this, again, this is speaking very objectively, because I've watched every press secretary since going back to Marlon Fitzwater. Yeah, I'm that old. And she went out there for her very first briefing at the age of 27 years old, the youngest press secretary ever, and did a terrific job.
Leaked emails revealed that ABC had planned the attack on Underwood to boost ratings. It wasn't just a casual discussion gone too far. It was orchestrated, a deliberate smear campaign designed to create controversy, fuel outrage, and keep The View trending. When this bombshell came out, the industry erupted. ABC executives scrambled into full-blown panic mode, and in the end, they were forced to settle for an undisclosed but massive amount. So huge that people inside the network started to question if The View was even worth the trouble anymore. And just when they thought they could catch their breath, boom, Elon Musk happened. Whoopi had spent months painting Musk as a dangerous billionaire, a threat to democracy, an unhinged tech mogul who needed to be stopped. But here's where she really crossed the line. She and the other hosts started spreading provably false claims about Twitter's policies under Musk's ownership. And Musk, he wasn't the type to let that slide. He sued. And when Musk sues, he doesn't play around. ABC was once again thrown into full damage control mode, desperately trying to contain the fallout. It wasn't just about Musk winning in court. This time, advertisers were paying attention. For years, The View had operated under the assumption that controversy meant ratings, and ratings meant revenue. But suddenly, whispers started floating around. Big-name sponsors were growing tired of the endless scandals. The show was becoming more of a liability than an asset. And now, as if the cracks in The View weren't already deep enough, Karoline Leavitt had just delivered another devastating blow. The question wasn't just how Whoopi would recover, it was whether The View itself could survive. 1 lawsuit is bad, 2 is worse. But 3 is a full-blown crisis, and ABC executives were in full-on panic mode. The show was bleeding millions in ad revenue, and leaked reports revealed that some of the network's biggest sponsors were questioning whether The View was still worth their investment. The fallout was snowballing fast, and no amount of spin could stop it. Behind the scenes, ABC was scrambling. For years, they had let Whoopi run the show unchecked, shutting down conservative guests, steamrolling over differing opinions, and turning The View into an echo chamber. But now she was the one getting shut down. And it wasn't just a bad moment. It was humiliating. The once powerful host who never backed down was suddenly out of options. And just when it seemed like things couldn't get worse, they did. Sponsors started pulling out.
Yeah. I would like this young lady this is her first job, I would like her to do a little homework. Because she said something yesterday that really pissed me off. And that was, she said, there will be no wokeness here.
Oh, yeah.
Let me explain something to you. Because without that wokeness, you might not have that job.
Yeah.
Because women were not invited to that table. Women were not invited to many tables in this nation. The reason we fought and busted our behinds to make sure that you didn't have to worry about this. And now to hear you talk about it and to hear anybody talk about the wokeness was put in place for a reason. Because black people couldn't get into colleges. Because women could not get into the colleges they wanted to go to. This is all women. Yeah. See, this is not black, Asian women. This is all women. Women were not invited to this party. It was a man's world, and we busted our asses to make sure that this was.
Advertisers didn't want to be associated with a show that had become more about shouting and walk-offs than actual debate. Even loyal fans of The View started to wonder, had the show finally gone too far? And then, the moment no one saw coming, ABC removed Whoopi Goldberg from The View. Of course, they didn't call it a firing. They spun it with their usual PR nonsense, claiming she was taking a break to focus on other projects. But everyone knew the truth. She got the boot. Whoopi had spent years controlling The View, turning it into a one-sided echo chamber where opposing voices were mocked, dismissed, and silenced. She had built her reputation on dominating every debate, treating any pushback like an inconvenience. But one debate, one showdown with Karoline Leavitt changed everything. And now, The View was in complete turmoil. Would ABC bring in another Whoopi-like figure to carry on her legacy of shutting down opposition? Or would they finally admit that the show needed balance? Could The View even survive this level of backlash? And had Karoline just set a new standard for how conservatives fight back against mainstream media? Whoopi thought she could steamroll Karoline like she had done to so many others. Instead, she got completely wrecked. And now, as ABC scrambles to clean up the mess, the entire world is watching. Whoopi Goldberg was once The View's biggest star, but now she's its biggest liability. Could this latest controversy be the final nail in the coffin for The View? Would ABC ever reinstate Whoopi, or is she done for good? Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for our next video.